everyone. We are coming to you from the Roar Room at Penn State today, and we're here to talk to you about environmental pathways to sustainability. My name is Suhani. I'm a third year studying environmental systems engineering. I have minors in geography and geoscience, and I'm here with...
My name is Kaylee Henninger. I am a senior in forest ecosystem management with a minor in wildlife and fishery science, and I'm from Kutztown, Pennsylvania.
Hi, my name is Emma Chaplin. I'm a senior studying environmental resource management. I'm the environmental science option, so I always just tell people environmental science. And I'm getting a minor in international agriculture, and I'm from Harrisburg, PA.
Forgot to mention, I'm from Malvern, Pennsylvania. But to get started here, I guess, how has Penn State helped you guys set you guys up to achieve your goals and sustainability through your clubs and experiences here?
Oh, big question.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is all my internships have been through Penn State. So that's given me a lot of introduction to how we actually operate with sustainability in the real world, even if it's just within a scientific study, what is going behind all of these decisions. For instance, I had an internship with it was with Dr. Zenner, and we did a silvicultural study on Pennsylvania game lands about crop and gap trees. So that's looking into a different way to manage forests that isn't quite as common, and it is more aimed towards wildlife and less towards timber management. So that's one of the things that has been told. But in general, just my classes, and I feel like as we get further into the conversation, things will more naturally come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good intro.
Yeah. I think one of the beauties of Penn State is the fact that you have connections maybe on a smaller level in your college, and then you have the whole university. So I'm in the Schreier Honors College, but both of my major and minor are in the College of Ag. So, Schreier and the College of Ag both have their own networks. And then there's the broader Penn State network, which I've gotten more exposed to through some of my internships. I'm currently interning for the Office of the Physical Plant, but also just through clubs and organizations. I'm a part of the Student Sustainability Advisory Council, which we basically provide consultation to university leadership on what sustainable initiatives we think are important to happen at Penn State. We actually just had our final presentation on Monday, which was pretty cool. But that really opened my eyes to different ways that sustainability can be, integrated into different fields, because we provide advice on proposals ranging from water to waste to food to energy. And through that, we engage with stakeholders all across the university. So really getting to meet more people, grow your network, and figure out what your path is. I, for a while, thought I wanted to go to law school. I've changed my mind. I'm now going and getting a degree in business and sustainability. So Penn State has really helped me sort of figure out what the best path is for me.
My major is in the College of Earth and Mineral Sciences, which is pretty directly tied to sustainability, as I'm sure ag is as well. So there's a lot of opportunities built into the college through specifically extracurriculars, but also minors and certificates and things like that have given me access to more routes to sustainability than I'd expected through my minors, but also access to, I think, minors and certificates and programs in other colleges as well, because I've looked into minoring in things in ag or doing research outside of just my college. Yeah. And then extracurriculars, I mentioned lots of clubs surrounding sustainability, and it's tied into, I think, pretty much every aspect of Penn State. I know you were talking about the football games and how the pom-poms.
Yes. Yeah, with my internship at the Office of the Physical Plant, OPP, I'm a waste reduction intern, so did a lot with football. We ran the Tailgate Ambassadors program, which if you've ever been tailgating and you see people with a Tailgate Ambassador shirt come up to you with blue bags and clear bags, encouraging fans to recycle. That was us. We had some really great success with that. It was I believe it was a 90% waste diversion rate from that program, which is super impressive. There's lots of things like that at Penn State that contributes to the university being number one in the Big Ten for sustainability, which is pretty cool. But anyways, that was that one part of the Tailgate Ambassador program. We also ran a pom-pom recycling program. We collected just under 50 bags of pom-poms over the course of the season and sorted them to be reused in partnership with the Alumni Association. So that was pretty cool. And just another thing that you would not think about with sustainability, but something that Penn State allowed me to be exposed to, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah, I also like things like North Halls having all compostable utensils and everything. I'm an RA on campus as well, so seeing how sustainability is integrated into res life. And during RA training, we had a whole segment on like waste reduction and recycling and how to teach people how to recycle. And I know that Penn State's taking a lot of steps towards advancing our recycling and composting programs, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was looking at the question or the prompts here. I was thinking about it. I really think the biggest kind of belief that I have is that like we learn how to be ourselves by interacting with other people. Through that, we kind of see like what do we want to be like? Well, what do we not want to be like? And I think I've just been introduced to some like I said, I come from Kutztown, Pennsylvania. It's a pretty small town. We have a college, so that's perhaps a little different than other small towns in Pennsylvania. But I really got introduced to so many new ideas. Some that I didn't agree with, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to go with that. And some where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a completely new thing that I've never even thought of before. I think I like this, and I want to learn how I can integrate this into whatever I'm doing, or maybe it'll lead me to something that I'm doing. And I think that's really important in sustainability. And, I mean, we're saying sustainability, and that's the topic of this conversation, but it's really anything, is having this, like, a bunch of different opinions to come into a topic and, like, figure out how to work something out that works for people. So, yeah, I think that's a really big value that I've had from being at Penn State, is being introduced to so many people and so many ideas.
Have either of you guys studied abroad?
I wish. I have not.
I have.
Okay, where
I
did you
was
study abroad?
Lucky enough to go to Costa Rica this spring break.
Very cool.
That was actually a really big experience for me. That was the first time leaving the country.
Great.
And we went there to see. We weren't on the beaches, although we did go to the beach one time. I can't pronounce it, but that I know is Cautia, C-A-U, Cautia National Park. That was at the end of the week. But we were focusing on agroforestry systems. It's a lot more integrated down there. And we looked at things like silvopasture, which is the intentional introduction of trees into pasture spaces with cows. But not just that. You also need to have an intentional rotational system of their grazing patterns, as to, have grass somewhere while the other grass grows. And things like layered, it's forest farming, food forest. I'm doing a project on it right now. Cool. There's little enforced gardens. There's all these like layered, like using land for more than one thing, basically, because we see a lot of monocropping.
For sure.
If you ever live in Pennsylvania, you'll see that. So using forest structure and utilizing it to grow food, much like had been done by indigenous peoples here for thousands of years before colonization. People actually, when Europeans first came over, they didn't really realize that agriculture was happening, because it was kind of integrated into the forest systems in many places. There's a lot of variety. Yeah, so that was one kind of thing from Costa Rica, but it was just also great seeing another country. It was complete culture shock. They had their highways, like, how on our highways, it says, like, no pedestrians, motor vehicles only. A lot of their highways that we were on, at least, we had bikers on the side, walkers on the side, businesses along it. And also they had a bunch of, like, really big built bridges over the highways, as well as what we kind of determined were like monkey nets, whereas like these nets like attached to trees for monkeys to cross, or whatever could get up there to cross. So that was really cool seeing a lot of their initiatives. We were able to go to Turrialba, which is where Cartier, which is the research station that I was at, was put. It was actually established by the United States by a vice president. I forget the date, but that's something that was established by the United States and Costa Rica. And also Molojones, which was a more rural community. We got to see, so I don't have it with me, it's in my bag, but they basically, Southwest donates their like leather, and then people in Molojones, they take it apart, and then they send it back to Turrialba, where they have a place where they've trained women to construct clothing, bags, a bunch of stuff to sell. So that is a way of giving women job opportunity in areas where it might not be as present. yeah, and I'll give up my time because I've been talking a lot.
No, all
What
good.
program was that through the Costa Rica trip?
That was through College of Ag. So I'm
Nice.
taking a class. Sorry, I didn't say that very clearly. The College of Ag. I'm taking a class called Agroforestry Systems, or something to that effect. And it was also combined with another class. I forget exactly what they were, but it was about international relations. Yeah, that was I would definitely recommend that trip to anyone.
Yeah. I've heard of a lot of the, especially the integrated classes where over spring break you'll go visit the site that you're studying about. I think those are really cool. I'd like to do one. But also what you said about the using land for different spaces reminded me of, we talk a lot about like renewable energy, obviously. And I remember hearing and learning about like using land that's used for farming or cattle or whatever also to have solar farms or like wind powered facilities. So yeah, more there. And also going back a little bit to your point about Penn State being such a big school with so many new ideas. I remember I've had friends visit and distinctly comment on our composting and how like they think it's really cool that we separate all of our trash into the multiple different containers, because I guess that's not as common of an idea everywhere. So yeah, I don't know. I don't realize how much Penn State actually takes steps towards that until I hear from outside sources about what it's like elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I was in a lunch with members of the other schools from the Big Ten, and was just I left that lunch feeling just so impressed and proud to be a part of a lot of the work that Penn State is doing. I have studied abroad. Is it okay if I jump back to that? So all I was going to say with that was just that I feel like if you study the environment at Penn State, there's just so many different opportunities. And I could definitely say that even just within the College of Ag. Penn State has had studied abroad programs on all 7 continents. After my freshman year, I studied abroad in Kenya and worked on a farm implementing conservation agriculture practices, which was really cool. Trying to resist some drought issues that were going on at the time.
Those semicircles? Have you seen those?
No. We were more focused on cover crops, like sister cropping, and then like compost is one thing that I was really focused on. That was my main project. That was after my freshman year, and then my sophomore year, we went down to Argentina and spent a couple days at the bottom of Argentina in this town called Ushuaia. Learned a lot about microplastics, which was really cool. I don't know if cool is quite the right word. It's terrible, but it was fascinating. Maybe that's the word. And then we got on a boat and we went down and sailed around the top peninsula of Antarctica for a while and studied seabirds there, which was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to do this thing called the Puffin Project.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard about this? Oh my gosh. It's basically where you go on an island and you just take puffin data. You live in a shack and you take puffin data.
I had a friend who did that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's on my list. That was someone came into my ornithology class. Ornithology is the study of birds. And he told us about that, and because he was the leader of that program, and I was like, thank you so much. And that kind of leads me to a point I was thinking about where, in terms of Penn State providing the opportunity, is I have, like, just yesterday, I was sitting and talking with a bunch of DCNR. They brought in DCNR folk to talk. I'm sure you got an email about that because it was advertised to ERM. And I'm on, like, Seth Castle, who is our state forester with the Department of Forestry. Like, he knows my name and he knows my face.
Yeah.
And that's really important to me because no matter if I, like, work in the government or not, I'm considering DCNR. But, like, it's so good to have those connections in what, like, you would consider, like, a high place. Because if, like, I see myself, I want to influence things, you know?
Yeah.
I want to put my mark on this world. So it's having those connections and just getting face to face, because that's so important with these people is really good. It's really good. It gets you used to just being in those spaces and getting you comfortable. And I feel primed to go out and kind of. It gives me confidence to go and talk to be in these spaces and talk to these people.
The mention of ornithology had me thinking, are either of you involved with Shavers Creek or? familiar at all.
Just visiting, not
Okay,
involved,
okay.
but I have lots of friends
Sure.
who've done it.
Yeah.
Outdoor school and yeah.
I did
Yeah,
outdoor
yeah.
school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys do outdoor school?
I want to
No,
so
I
bad.
wish.
What was your
I
major
wish I
name?
had.
Whippoorwill. It was so fun teaching the kids how to say that.
Yeah.
But by the end of the week, they knew what to say.
Aw.
But my other internship with the Penn State Forest Land Management Office, that was mostly, I talked about Weaver Forest, but I mostly worked within Stone Valley, which
Okay,
is
yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So
Because I have a lot of friends involved with it, and we go to Migration Monday or Migration Morning every once in a while, which is like Wednesday morning. You watch the birds migrate, but also just being in Shavers Creek. The number of opportunities that they alone have, but it has me thinking about how geographically, like where Penn State is, because we're surrounded by nature and forest. There's so many opportunities, and also you were talking about the connections. I was thinking about the alumni network, and it's like, everybody knows us. Everybody has a connection to Penn State. It makes it really easy, I think, or a lot easier to get into spaces where it might be harder, especially with sustainability. Sometimes you have to do a lot of networking to get like the nitty gritty.
oh my gosh.
Yeah,
There's so
absolutely.
many parts to everything.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm a senior. I'm graduating in May, and I'm going to go get a graduate degree. I'm going to go to Duke to get a master's in business climate sustainability. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. But when I went there and visited, one of the really cool experiences that I think just quantified this alumni network is every person I talked to on campus had some connection to Penn State, whether or not it was their one son goes to Penn State or their sister works there or something. But it was just really impactful because even though I'm going to this other place that, you know, maybe I'm from Pennsylvania, I've lived in Pennsylvania my whole life, maybe feeling a little bit nervous about moving to a new place, but every person I talked to could say a connection that they had to Penn State, which was really cool. And I would say that's not a unique experience. I think that's something that a lot of people can say has happened to them. You hear the joke that anytime you go to an airport, you'll see someone in a Penn State like sweatshirt or something. And I think it's true, honestly. So yeah, I think that really showed me recently how impactful this network is.
Yeah.
My friend was in Florida recently wearing a Penn State shirt going around, and she had "We Are" shouted at her like 4 different times.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't escape it.
Absolutely.
Are you guys involved with any clubs or orgs?
Yeah.
What do you got?
A lot of my involvement is through my college, so the Earth and Mineral Sciences Student Council, and we have our Thon and our ambassadors programs, and then we also. I'm not a part of, but I try to go to a lot of events for like the student farm specifically, which is also, I know they have huge initiatives towards sustainability, and obviously the whole concept of growing our own food is aimed that way. And I'd like to get more involved there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know I mentioned the Student Sustainability Advisory Council. I'm one of the chairs of that, so that's definitely a big area I invest a lot of my time. It's a really awesome, it's a council, so it's not a club, but it's a really awesome council that provides consultation to the university president and team of vice presidents, provost on sustainability initiatives at Penn State. So have a really awesome team of graduate and undergraduate students who did a fantastic job at our final presentation on Monday. That's one of my time commitments. I'm also a part of the local climate action program, which is run by faculty in the College of EMS. I think there are students from all different colleges, including any of the Commonwealth campuses and also World Campus. So students from any campus can participate in it. But basically, students are paired into teams. I'm with 2 other women, and we are working with the city of Harrisburg. We completed a greenhouse gas inventory for them in the fall, so it was a community-wide greenhouse gas inventory. I focused specifically on transportation, so on-road transportation, boats. Harrisburg doesn't have an airport inside of its municipality, but if it did, that would have been part of it. So we did that. We did that inventory. We presented it to the Harrisburg City Council, and then this semester we're working on a climate action plan. So basically, taking what we found through this inventory and finding actionable ways to reduce those greenhouse gas emissions that we quantified. I'm again focused on the transportation section, and in May we'll be presenting that to Harrisburg's mayor, which is pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been involved in a good amount of clubs throughout my time at Penn State. Some more briefly than others, like the outing club, and briefly I did the the cycling club.
Oh, yeah.
Got me really into biking, so
I have
that's
some
really
friends in
good.
that. Nice.
Yeah, I went to a spring break trip one time, and they took me down a black trail, which they shouldn't have done. But it was really fun. Yeah. But I'm not as involved now. I'm more focused. I'm the president of the Student Association for Fire Ecology.
Oh, cool.
Fire is, well, I think we say it as an element, but it's kind of it's like a process, because reaction, however you want to look at it, opinions.
Yeah.
But it's a integral part of our landscape that has been removed. People traditionally have used it to manage our lands for, again, thousands of years. And so we're kind of moving away from Smokey the Bear. Like, he's a cultural icon, but I have my gripes against him. He's got his problems. And so finding a way to just understanding because fire's cool.
Yeah.
And understanding how it can be better implemented on the landscape with safety in mind, because people live on the landscape, especially in places like here on the East Coast, where the urban environmental interface is pretty dense. Also, shout out to the caving club.
Oh, cool.
I love the caving club. We go into caves. What, you are?
I am, but I'm like rarely at the meetings. But I am in the group meet, and I know the president.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, me too. Oh, and then I guess So caving is great. Going into the earth is really cool.
Yeah.
I've been able to have some really great conversations. I'm always someone who I ask questions no matter what, no shame. And I had like a geology major or master's student in the cave with me, and they were looking up at the ceiling, and I was just like, what are you looking at? Tell me exactly what you're looking at. And I was able to get so much cool information. It was great. So doing things. Yeah.
The geology caving club pipeline is very real. That's how I got involved.
That makes a lot of sense.
CMS, that makes sense.
Yeah, but back to the topic of clubs, I was just thinking about how, I remember getting here first, and even still, the number of sustainability-related clubs and, sustainability positions at different clubs is, almost overwhelming. Because every time I see one, I'm like, I want to do it. Because, UPOA has, director of sustainability.
Right.
There's, sustainability positions in, non-sustainability-related clubs like SPA.
For sure.
Also, sustainable lab consultants kind of reminds me of what you're doing.
Yeah.
With, you're working with labs. I don't know. There's the number of opportunities is very vast, and I think being an EMS is very helpful because I kind of am directly in it, so I don't feel as much pressure to go out and look for those opportunities. But it's great that those are available to people that aren't in a major related. I have a friend that's in communications and PR, completely unrelated to sustainability, but she has managed to tailor her entire career towards working for the environment and working towards sustainable goals through other clubs and forming her own clubs and whatnot.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, I'm one of the chairs of the Student Sustainability Advisory Council. I'm the president of the Coley Society, which is a College of Agricultural Sciences Leadership Society, or Leadership and Honors Society. I would say Penn State provides, or the advisors at Penn State, I think, care a lot about their students. And so they try to provide opportunities for students to take leadership, even if it's not at Penn State. There's so many opportunities to be leaders at Penn State that we all even mentioned already. But after I studied abroad in Kenya and did a lot of conservation agriculture work, I started my internship with the Agriculture and Environment Center, which was a fantastic experience learning about conservation. Then my advisor, Dr. Robert Shannon, who is the former advisor of the Environmental Resource Management Program, he had sent out an email to all of the ERM students and with this opportunity to apply to be a USDA Future Leader in Agriculture, which selects, it's about 15 undergraduate students across the country get selected and 5 graduate students. I applied and ended up being one of the 15 that was selected, which was a really awesome opportunity that I think just Penn State provides students with these opportunities because of that network. And I think the advisors really care about their students. Professors care a lot. Every time I've asked for a letter of recommendation or anything, even if it's hey, I need this letter. I just found out about this program. I need it super soon. They're always willing to try to take that next step and really provide those opportunities to you. We have a great office of research and fellowships, mentoring that has helped me through different application processes. I was nominated for the Rhodes Scholarship in the fall, and they paired me with a fantastic mentor, Laura Fowler, who's a professor in the College of Law right now. And then I ended up being selected as a Rhodes finalist because of all of their mentoring and the great work that they did to try to help me achieve my goals and try to become a leader in this space. So would just like to shout out all of them at Penn State for just all of the great work that they do.
I would say I had some just small opportunities to lead and like have leadership be shown to me. So I currently work at the Schadt Center for Tree Molecular Genetics. For a time, there was an intern who, they were younger than me. And so I found myself, like, when I was with my supers, I was totally under them and, like, on them for, like, helping me know what to do for the day. But then I found that when I was with this person, I was able to kind of take the lead. And that was a fun little thing for me to be able to do that. It's small opportunities here and there. Like you said, the college is kind of provide for you in some ways. Absolutely. If you're there to be there. To take those opportunities. I'm the undergrad representative for our like alumni board.
Oh, cool.
So I was able to write reports for all our clubs and everything. So just getting that experience and like wrangling people.
Yeah.
You got to be a people person.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like I had something else to say, but I'll direct it towards you.
I was going to say, I feel like leadership opportunities find you wherever you're involved, kind of, even when you don't expect it. If you're showing up somewhere, people are going to hand you responsibility, and kind of naturally take on that position.
Yeah.
My leadership is mostly, again, in my college, especially through our Thon org, and also I'm director of EMS ambassadors for next year, which is like prospective student stuff.
Exciting.
Yeah. But a lot of the positions I've gotten are like even just experiences that aren't necessarily positions for leadership are through just like being reached out to randomly by professors or other students that know your work or things like this where you can, people recognize that you've been involved. So just like being present and showing up places kind of gets you there.
That's a great point.
Also through research, I think there's a lot of, by forming those relationships with your professors and getting your face out there, they know who you are. They'll reach out to you. I would just say if you're coming to Penn State, this university is massive and there are so many opportunities and don't freak yourself out because of how large it is. Yeah. Talk to people, talk to professors, get involved where you want to be. You don't have to commit to anything. Just explore. I don't know.
Yeah. I would say you're only here for a limited time, maybe. Learn about the land you live on and the history of the land. It's really important, and try to connect with it while you're here.
Yeah, I would say everybody in the environmental space that I've met in the sustainability space are just some of the kindest, most selfless people you could ever meet. So, just ask questions. I liked your point about showing up and being present. And my sort of funny advice is read your email because there will be so many things that come across your email that you will just have to jump on if you're interested. So that would be my advice.
Thank you, everyone, for listening, and thank you to my fellow guests for coming today and having a great conversation with me about sustainability.
We are
Penn State.